Yo, what up guys, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video we're gonna go over Ciaccona's kit and also her weapon. And really quickly before I start the video, if you want to pre-farm for her weapon, her skills, whatever, these are the required ascension materials and these are the required skill materials, which can be very nice. Now on to the normal attack, the basic attack. Perform up to 4 consecutive attacks dealing arrow damage. Basic attack stage 4 inflicts 1 stack of aeroerosion upon the target hit, so you want to use your basic attack quite a lot. When the first 3 stages of Ciaccona's basic attack are interrupted by dodging, press basic attack in time to resume the attack cycle and cast the corresponding basic attack stage. This to me seems, very logical, because it wouldn't make any sense if you do 2 basic attacks, then you have to dodge, which in WoA you have to do quite a lot. And then you are gonna have to start again at 1. That doesn't make any sense, so nice that they added this, but I think it's implied with basically any character. After basic attack stage 4, Ciaccona starts a solo concert. If Ciaccona's basic attack stage 4 or solo concert ends early, proactively or being interrupted, an ensemble sylph is generated. I believe the ensemble sylph are these, like, the things you see here. The kind of like after images of her. At least that's what I think it means. And what this Ciaccona, or what this ensemble sylph or those after images give you is in the solo concert. When Ciaccona or ensemble sylph perform solo concert, they give 24% arrow damage bonus to all nearby resonators in the team, and this effect is not stackable. So it's either you get interrupted and the ensemble sylph will do the thing for you, or you don't get interrupted and you'll get the 24% damage boost as well. So it doesn't really matter if you get interrupted, or yeah, it doesn't really matter if you get interrupted. So the ensemble sylph. Up to 2 ensemble sylphs may exist simultaneously. If Ciaccona's basic attack stage 4 is interrupted, the ensemble sylphs generated will finish the attack for Ciaccona and enter solo concert. If Ciaccona's solo concert is interrupted, the ensemble sylph generated will continue the solo concert for Ciaccona. Like I said, it doesn't really matter if you get interrupted because the ensemble sylph will do the work for you. Aside from the 2 situations mentioned above, ensemble sylphs generated by resonance skill will finish Ciaccona's current attack without entering solo concert. So the solo concert can only be reached by using your basic attack to get those ensemble sylphs, right? So if you use your skill, your resonance skill to get the ensemble sylphs, they will not enter solo concert and will not give you that 24% arrow damage bonus. So it is very important that you use your basic attack stage 4 to create those ensemble sylphs. Now on to the heavy attack, the aimed attack, the mid-air attack, and the dodge counter. It isn't that important. Everybody knows this. I think the only, thing that might be important is that aimed attacks are heavy attack damage, but you're not going to use aimed attacks, if I'm being real. This is basically not very important. And the resonance skill, however, move a certain distance, dealing arrow damage and inflicting 1 stack of arrow erosion on the target upon hit. Press normal attack in time to cast basic attack stage 2. When Ciaccona interrupts basic attack, heavy attack, mid-air attack, or solo concert with the resonance skill, an ensemble sylph is generated. So you want to use resonance skill in between your combos. So not start off with it, but for example use basic attack, then go into resonance skill, and then continue the basic attack. Ciaccona's resonance skill can be cast in mid-air. Pretty decent, not really that amazing, or anything noteworthy. But yeah. Now on to the resonance liberation, which is obviously a big part of her kit. Ciaccona and ensemble sylphs perform an improvised symphonic poem together, dealing arrow damage once to the nearby targets and entering recital. And recital, when in recital, sound waves will periodically radiate around Ciaccona. When the sound wave overlaps with the circle indicator, press the green or yellow buttons to generate symphonic poem tonic of the corresponding color and recover a certain amount of concerto energy. So if you don't know, you can literally see right here. It's basically like a time game. You have to time it correctly, and then you get either, if you press D, you'll get aeroerosion stacks, or if you press A, you're gonna get spectrofragile stacks. And overall, I think that you're probably gonna use Ciaccona for aeroerosion because every part of her kit is made for aero damage boost, basically everything about aero. And the only spectro buff she gives is Spectrofrazzle with her ult. So yes, you can probably use her in order for like Zenny to get the full amount or the full benefit of the, I believe it's called the Blaze or whatever, her Blaze stacks. But I don't think she's going to be that good for Zenny, to be honest. During recital, switching to another resonator doesn't end recital, but automatically generates a symphonic poem tonic matching the color of the last generated tonic before switching. So let's say you press the first one, you press D, and then you switch out, then automatically it's gonna be aeroerosion after that as well. So it's gonna be aeroerosion. If you press it once, the next time is always gonna be aeroerosion. And the same goes for Spectrofrazzle. A green symphonic poem tonic is generated by default if no interaction input is given before switching to another resonator. So this makes quick swapping with a aeroerosion team, I mean, it isn't that insane, but as you can see, it takes like a second, around a second, for a circle to get there. So if you have an aeroerosion team, you can quick swap even faster compared to if you use Spectrofrazzle, because if you just use your ult, immediately quick swap into, for example, your Cartethyia, who is coming in 2.4, I believe. Yeah, and she's gonna automatically choose aeroerosion, which Cartethyia is gonna benefit from. But if you use Zenny, you're gonna have to press A once for it to do Spectrofrazzle after. Do I think that's a good thing? Honestly, it isn't that big of a deal, but it makes quick swap a bit faster with aeroerosion. Yeah. So Ciaccona is immune to interruptions and takes 50% less damage. I think the interruption immunity is very nice. Exit recital by pressing Resonance Liberation again or switching Ciaccona back onto the field. Ensemble Sylphs can now directly grant arrow damage bonus provided by solo concert. That's very nice. Yeah, and here they say green tonic, deal arrow damage to nearby targets and inflict a stack of aeroerosion on targets hit. So basically what I explained earlier. Same with yellow tonic, Spectrofrazzle, right? Now onto her Fortis circuit. When there are 3 segments of musical essence, heavy attack is replaced with heavy attack quadruple downbeat. Consume all musical essence to shoot downbeat notes forward to deal arrow damage, pulling in the nearby targets and inflicting 1 stack of aeroerosion on the target hit. Heavy attack quadruple downbeat can be cast in midair close to the ground. Ciaccona can hold up to 3 segments of musical essence. Casting basic attack stage 4 or intro skill recovers 1 segment of musical essence. So basically, it works kind of like the same with, for example, your Shorekeeper, where you have to basic attack enough in order for you to do the heavy attack. And it's kind of like the same, because the attack of Shorekeeper, her heavy attack with the Fortis circuit, also pulls in enemies, and it kind of works the same for Ciaccona. So if you know how to use Shorekeeper and her Fortis circuits, you're probably not gonna have any issues with this as well. For the intro skill, nothing really amazing. You just start off with basic attack stage 3 if you time it well. But use intro skill, go in with another attack, and you start off with basic attack stage 4, or stage 3 I mean. Now onto the outro skill. This is ridiculous. This outro skill is insane, bro, I swear. So for the outro skill, it's called Wind Calling Tune. Aeroerosion damage dealt to targets near the active resonator is amplified by 100% for 30 seconds. And if you don't know what damage amplification is, I'll quickly explain it to you. So let's say, for example, you have all these damage multipliers, right? And your end damage is, for example, 20k. Damage amplification will go over that last number you get. So if your number is 20,000, and the damage amplification is 100%, you will deal 100% more damage. So instead of 20k, it's gonna be 40k. So this character is gonna be insane for Cartethyia. Like, it's not even, this is gonna be the best support, and it's not even gonna be close, bro. This is actually ridiculous for aeroerosion. But yeah, man, she's gonna be okay for characters outside, like for normal arrow characters. But if you use aeroerosion damage dealers, holy shit. 100% damage amplification is out of this world. I'm gonna be real. And they're really trying to sell this character for Cartethyia, man. Honestly, I might have to pull her just to get the most amount of damage. And I also want to test, like, if Cartethyia is gonna be, you know, shit without Ciaccona, or if it's just fine. But yeah. I wanted to skip her, but this, kind of crazy. So for the inherent skill, these are kind of ass, I think. Casting Resonance Liberation Singer Triple Cadenza grants Ciaccona a shield equal to 100% of her max HP for 4 seconds. Switching out Ciaccona removes the shield. Okay, so you get a shield, but you're gonna swap out of Ciaccona after using your ult. I mean, that's what basically anybody's gonna do. So I don't know how good this is, but it's fine, I guess. And Winds of Renacida increase heavy attack, quadruple downbeats damage by 30%. Really, nobody cares. Nobody cares about Ciaccona's damage, to be honest. I think. Maybe she's gonna do good damage, I don't know. And then the combat guide, you can read this if you want, but it's basically what I explained, like, throughout the video. So yeah, man, she's looking very, very good. And she's made for aeroerosion, right? Sure, you can use her for Spectral Frazzle, but not really. She's made for aeroerosion, let's be real here. But let's go over the pistol, aka her weapon. And it's pretty good, man. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but these weapons tend to have greater stats when it comes to pistols. Because, for example, with Carlotta, she has very high crit damage compared to other weapons on her signature. And crit rate pistols, I believe it's 21%. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe a bit more. For normal pistols, for example, the 5-star standard pistol has like 21, I believe, a crit rate. But this weapon has 36% crit rate, which is very, very nice. And it's probably going to be the best in slot for Alto as well. But yeah, the crit rate on a support, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. This is where I'm more into. Like, this is what matters the most, I think. So her S1, I think that's what most people are going for. It increases the attack by 12%, which is nice. Nothing major, but still pretty good. Inflicting aeroerosion on the target gives 24% arrow damage bonus for 10 seconds. That is very nice. It's nothing insane, but still very, very good. Hitting targets with aeroerosion reduces their arrow resistance by 10% for 20 seconds. So, you know, all of these separately are decent. But having these three combined, I think this weapon is very, very good. Aeroerosion reduction, or aeroerosion resistance reduction. Arrow resistance reduction, not aeroerosion. And a 24% arrow damage buff and a attack buff. Kind of very good. So yeah, her weapon. Is it a must pull? I don't think so. Is it very good? Absolutely. But yeah, man, that's basically everything about what we know currently about Ciaccona. Of course, we're gonna have to see how well she performs in game. I might pull for her. I said I wanted to skip her, but I mean, I want the most amount of damage for my Cartethyia as well. So yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave your comments on if you're gonna pull for Ciaccona or not, and maybe, like, I have a lot of pulls, so I'm probably gonna summon for her, but if you don't, Cartethyia is coming next, so you might have to save your pulls. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.